I would like to start out by telling everybody on the call I am so appreciative of the opportunity that we have to kind of address you, and that you'd be willing to take a little bit of time out of your day to look at ARIIX as a possibility to which you could start your own home-based business and take the opportunity to sell the ARIIX products through that home-based business. So when I had the opportunity from Tony to come on, I thought, wow, I would love the chance to get an audience of people who want to change their current financial situation, or at least have an opportunity to do so if they're willing to put the time and effort necessary in it to become more financially secure in their current situation. When I started ARIIX, I never actually thought we would be doing our own network marketing company. You know, I had what many people would have said is the most cush job on the planet. It was a job in which everyone tries to aspire to. You feel like if you work really hard, if you do very well, if you outperform all of your other cohorts, you can rise to the top of a company and become an executive of that company. And you know what? I got to say, I did it. I worked hard. I got my good education, as Tony was so nice to introduce to me, did everything that I could, worked day and night, worked all the time, worked hours. There were weeks I would work 120 hours, 120. In 1 year, I missed 47 weekends out of 52 to build it at the cost of my family, my social life, my friends, all the things that I love to do. I didn't have the time to do because I was killing myself to rise up into this company and kind of live the good life. I finally did it, as he told you, 3 years ago approximately. I finally made it to the president of that organization. I didn't have much chance of going any higher because the owner's son took the top spot, but I was perfectly content in the second spot. There at the top of the executives of a publicly traded company, I had some close friends of mine. They had all done the same thing. You pay the price, you work hard enough, eventually one day you get to be kind of king of the hill. And it was great. We're all enjoying the good life. And one day it became apparent to me that as much as I think this is my company too, because I had 13 years or so in that company, I had worked my guts out for 13, side by side next to the owner, side by side next to the owner's son. This was mine too. I had a vested emotional interest in that company. And it became obvious that I was just an employee. That in the end, my decisions, my choices did not have to be adhered to or listened to. That my ability to control my destiny was also limited. My ability to control my compensation was controlled by a board of directors and was controlled by the owners. And more importantly, I saw firsthand that an associate colleague of mine who I had worked with for 13 years was going to lose his job at the opinion of an owner. And I thought to myself, hey, you know what, wait a minute. I've been out there preaching direct sales and the benefit of it. I've been preaching how great it is to be your own business owner. I've been teaching all these years for it. In fact, I've had and own several businesses of my own presently. And the one place that I thought I was very, very safe and secure turns out to be not any safer or more secure than any other employee. Because I really believe this. Watch how people treat others. And rest assured, they will treat you like that in time. It's not if, it's when. And when I saw the treatment of those other executives and what was going to happen to them, that was the day I realized, you know what? My turn is coming. It's not if, it's when. And I had better do something to change my own financial situation. So we walked away from 7-figure incomes to do a business that we think can be done better, with better rights for the representatives, with more control, power, and authority over their own businesses, and in so doing, build products, services, recognition in an industry that oftentimes has a bad reputation.
And over the last 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 6, 7 weeks that we have launched, I have found that actually it was more true than we realized. Not only are individuals coming, but we have many, many stories, Tony himself, of people who have been wrongfully, in my opinion, terminated from their organization or lost their business or become unemployed as a result of the economy or laid off or anything. Direct selling isn't any different than any other typical business. For whatever reason, out of your control, you lose your business. And at ARIIX, when they start to look at what options and opportunities that they are getting, what rights have been created for them, they're coming. And are they not only coming on an individual basis, they're coming by the company basis. We currently have several direct selling companies that have been struggling, doing a nice job, building their businesses, that have shown a demonstrable interest in literally just coming in with their field into ARIIX because of the opportunities that we're offering. So before you think it's just words, I want to kind of walk you through some of the substantiation for my assertion that ARIIX is indeed a little bit different. First, in ARIIX, we started out with some of the most common complaints in direct sales. It's unfortunate, but direct selling industry has a bad rap. Partly undeserved, partly deserved. For example, I hear this common nomenclature. Well, the only people who make any money are the people at the top. Only the people that get in early. Well, for everybody on this call, congratulations. If that happened to be true, today is your lucky day because you have an opportunity to get in early. How about in the first 6 weeks of operation? That's pretty early. And in our first 6 weeks, I think it was our 5th week, we did over $500,000 in sales. So we're moving up very, very quickly. So good for you. But the reality is that is not true. It is not necessarily a function of how early you get in. Certainly it's got its advantages. People haven't heard of it. There's a lot of momentum and excitement over the newest thing. But as far as direct selling goes, many, many people can make it to the top, not just one. At my former company, I was the president of the organization. The owner's son was the CEO. I'm never getting the CEO position unless he dies or goes away. It isn't possible. So truly, there's only room at the top for one in present, modern corporate America. Think about it. There's always a boss, and you're never going to take the boss's spot until the boss goes. But in network marketing, that's not true at all. Anyone can rise to the top. In fact, you can make more money than the person who introduced you to the company, and you don't even have to get their permission. You don't have to get their evaluation. They don't have to give you a review. You don't have to be subject to any terms and conditions of anyone else. The only requirement for moving up the organization in terms of size of your business and your organization is your own personal effort, which to me is what makes direct selling so impressive compared to traditional roles and business opportunities that you have in employment. The next is you don't have to give up your day job. You know, you actually can moonlight doing your business in ARIIX and eventually replace your full-time income from part-time effort. To me, that's pretty good. How many businesses can you start? And when you start those businesses, you say to yourself, you know what? I've got to drop my current day job. I've got to give everything up. I've got to mortgage my house. I've got to get all my money that I can for my initial investments, and then I'm going to put it all into this new venture, and I hope my business venture succeeds. Because if my business venture doesn't exceed, I'm out a whole bunch of my money, a whole bunch of my family's money. I'm actually was trying to put together a deal for a grocery store. Now, it sounds stupid, but just think of this. A grocery store that could make an owner decent money, maybe $250,000 to $400,000 a year after all the work that goes into business ownership. In order to start that grocery store, I personally needed to come up with $1.9 million to be able to start that business for an opportunity to maybe produce an EBITDA of $600,000 to $700,000. Let's see. I wonder how much your ARIIX business is going to cost you up front in order to generate an income in that neighborhood. Guess what? It costs a whole whopping starter kit of $30. Most people get ready with started with a starter kit that at most the initial order kit is $1,100. I would say network marketing is a much better opportunity than trying to start your own personal business, given the initial cash outflow. But it gets better. Think about it. If you try to open up your own business, all of the activities you need to be an expert in. Okay. First, you've got to be an expert if you're owning a grocery store in helping develop the location, the site, the building, etc. If you're smart enough to buy the business, you still have the initial cash outlay, but you've got to set up your facility, you've got to decor it, you've got to hire your employees, you've got to create your marketing material, you've got to start to try to entice customers with promotions and incentives and discounts. You've got to come up with all of those possibilities, and then you yourself need to run that business and oversee it to make sure that all the accounting and the finance and the payments are coming to you in the end. In direct selling, all of that is handled for you. You don't have to do any of it. The only aspect you have to do is the marketing promotion side of it, in which you talk to people. Something that you're going to have to do if you owned any other business. But we just take away a lot of the responsibilities of the operational tasks most people are used to. So when you get down to that, you think, okay, well, yeah, direct selling wins. So why doesn't it have such a great reputation? And why doesn't direct selling do much better? And the reason is because it has some negative stigmas. It has some stigmas in which people believe that you have to not only get in early and get in at the top, but you have to buy a garage full of products, hold it, and hope you can sell it. Well, in ARIIX, we are a consumption model direct selling company, which means your own personal consumption would count towards your qualification for commissions, but in addition to that, there are no group sales volume requirements, no quotas of sales that you have to meet in order to be eligible for commissions. The generation of 75 points or $100 every 4 weeks is the only requirement in which you have to be eligible for commissions on a month-to-month basis. A pretty small nut to crack. And in addition to that, the compensation plan has been derived in an effort to be able to make it so that you can generate enough in commissions to pay for your monthly use of products in as few as recommending to 4 people the ARIIX opportunity. We wanted to make